seen Beaver Stadium quite like that?
It's always a lot like that when at whiteouts. They always get it cranked up for whiteouts. So I've seen a couple crowds like that.
How do you move beyond what happened?
Well, you have to. The sun come up in the morning. You got to get going forward. We got 5 tough games left. You can't cry over this one. You got to go forward. Our kids are real resilient. They'll bounce back. We'll go on Tuesday and get to work again.
Coach, how quickly did that happen? Is it right away, or does it take a day or two?
Right away. Sunday was a day we met, and then today we players pop in and out, watch videotape, start on our next opponent. Hopefully we hit the meeting field on Tuesday. We'll be ready to rock and roll.
Defensively, it was kind of a weird game in that you really didn't do a ton except for 2 drives. They hit you really fast. How do you square the job that defensively you feel like you guys did on Saturday?
Well, it's hard to evaluate. You're right. It's a 60-minute game. So we got to play all 60 minutes. Where first half, second half, third half doesn't matter. We just got to finish the game. And so it's hard to evaluate like we did this well. We lost the football game, and that's all. You focus on that part and find ways to fix it, and then move forward.
Larry, I know the Rushman package is something that's obviously worked very well for you guys in passing situations, but there was one time you had him out there on a 3rd and 1, and Saquon Barkley, I think, ran for 27 yards or something like that. I'm just curious, is the Rushman something you're using no matter what on 3rd down? Are you trying to guess that they're going to throw? Or are you okay
not
with
necessarily.
having
We're still in a position where we can play the run. We jumped out a gap.
Okay.
And it split real quick. It wasn't because we thought we were going to pass, but they do run the football. We have a way of fitting it up. So it's not just a pass rush component. It's based on run also. Okay. If we get caught in one.
So that was sort of a learning moment of still play your gap before you go. Do you learn something every game, almost every play in that regard?
It was a run read. We tell our guys anytime we get a down block or fit or run play action, we shut it down, fit the gap. Nick's really aggressive, inside. And so it just popped. And when it popped, it was going out the gate pretty fast. So it's just not something we can't fix. It's just a matter of understanding that, we just got to gap it out.
Before the blocked field goal, you guys had stopped them after the sudden change on the punt and forced a field goal. What do you take from that, moving forward and stuff? But how do you encapsulate everything about a defense that seemed to play pretty well with a few exceptions on Saturday night? You lose the game. How do you move forward from that?
I think we're all as a team. I think one thing you have to be careful about is 3 components: special teams, offense, and defense. So it's not like one group played well and one group didn't play well. I think you walk off the field as a defensive coach, a defensive player. There's an L on the board, and so all of us got to go to work. Could we have done better than what we're doing? I think that's got to be the approach, and I think that's the approach we're going to take going into Tuesday. Rather than look at the game like, well, that group did well, that group. I don't think you can do that. It's a team sport, and we all got to play well. And so I look at the videotape and says, what could we have done better? And the pass got off. Could we had a better pass rush? Could we been better technique-wise? And I think that's the way you have to look at it. Yep.
Larry, when you look at these guys on video, I'm talking about Northwestern. I'm sure you've already looked at them. Their quarterback. What kind of jumps out at you about him? He seems to be getting more. More confidence as the thing goes along.
I think he's a pro type quarterback. Stays in the pocket. Got a great cannon arm. Very accurate. We're going to have to get to him and kind of get him off rhythm a little bit, but he's a rhythm quarterback.
Yeah.
The ball's coming out quick, and he managed the offense very well, very well.
And what do you see about their offense in general? Obviously they got an outstanding running back.
Outstanding running back.
The receivers seem to be making plays.
Outstanding running back, good receivers, great route runners, can catch the ball. Very impressed with the offensive line and what they're doing in their scheme, running the ball. They do a lot of runs, different runs. So we got our hands full, and it's going to be a great game on Saturday.
What makes Justin Jackson an outstanding running back, Larry?
Great vision. He's tough. He blocks in pass protection. There's not many backs you can find who really block in pass protection. But he'll hang in there. He'll cut you down, and then he does a great job with the ball in his hands. I think he's a complete back. Can catch it, can run it, can block, and that's what you want. 3-down back.
Hey Larry, to go to Oklahoma and beat them by 21, and then obviously to go and win at Wisconsin, who's a top 10 team, and then play Penn State. The success y'all had at the start of the season, do you think that maybe covered up some of the challenges of the fact that y'all were replacing 16 starters, and at the end of the day, this is still a young team, and I don't know if I'm wording that right, but you see what I'm saying?
I don't, but I would say this: they're no longer a young football team. We replaced 7 games, not going into our 7th game. And I think we were already mature. I think what's happened in the past is in the past. It's just one of those nights that it didn't fall our way. and it has anything to do with how young we were, or anything. I think we got to continue to move forward, and that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest message going forward. We got to get going and go early. Yeah.
You got to move forward. What adjustments need made?
Well, I think all the coaches take a look at the videotape and see exactly how we can improve in some areas and coach those things apart. I think that's the most important thing.
Larry, you've really, your major coaching stops have been in college, have been Penn State and Ohio State. Penn State during some glory years. Now, even for you coaches, Urban's had 5 losses in 5 years. How do you roll with it? I mean, because it's such a rare occurrence. I mean, what are you feeling, I guess, in your gut right now? I mean,
I like everybody else, when you lose something, you're really upset and you're worried about it, the plane ride home and then the ride to the house, get into bed at 4 in the morning, give you a chance to think about it, and then you get up in the morning and the sun comes up, and I always tell myself, no matter how bad it hurts inside, I owe it to my players to get going again, and I really try to get myself going as fast as I can, no matter how much I hurt.
Yeah.
It's the players that's got to get ready to play, and so I've tried to get change over pretty quickly.
did you go to sleep quickly on Saturday night, or did you even sleep?
I did not. I don't think I have about 5 hours sleep in the last 48 hours, but that's just what it is.
And what replays in your mind? I mean, what keeps you up? Is it the
Every
plays?
play.
I mean,
Every
is it like
play.
when McSorley got loose that one time when y'all
every
had
play.
him dead to rights? I mean, just it.
57 plays, you play them all over your mind.
Yeah.
What you could have done better. It's just what it is. It's part of the coaching deal that you do. The kind of nightmare things you go through at night because you want your players to be successful. You know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest thing. So.
Larry, the drive at the end of the first half when they scored, were you guys surprised at all, just from the standpoint of they called the timeout and decided to sort of push the issue like that? And what can the defense learn from a drive like that when all of a sudden, in 30 seconds they sort of make some big plays going?
Well,
down
it
the
makes some
field?
big plays on that drive. I mean, they had a big catch, big throw, a scramble. I think the quarterback did a great job throwing on a run. That's one thing going in the game. We felt that he could throw the ball really well on a run. He did a good job doing that because we had pressure on him. He made a great throw, great catch. Bam, the game is changing. All of a sudden, we're in a fight.
Were you still locked in there, though? Were the guys still locked in? There wasn't any, step back, we think maybe the half is ending?
Oh, no way. They were locked in. No, they were locked in.
They just made some plays.
Yeah, made some plays around the stretch.
Well, what an odd game. They completed 8 passes, I think, and 6 of them were on those 2 drives they had, those lightning drives. I mean, what is the negative takeaway from that, and what is the positive takeaway, I guess, from the overall defensive play on Saturday night?
We got to close the game out. The first half, we would like to walk out of the first half with no points. That's what you like to do in the locker room. They made a great play, and give them credit now. They made the plays, they made the catches, so we have to give them credit. What we learned from it is the fact that we're going to get better. We're going to look at the videotape and evaluate those moments, that situation, and see if we can get them better and then fix it.
What happened in 2014? Does that help coaching these guys, the fact that you guys had that early loss? Now, this was a little later in the season, but the fact that you guys had the loss against Virginia Tech in 2014, you're able to run the table, win the national championship, and you have some guys on this team that are on that team.
Yeah.
Does what happened 2 years ago, does that help kind of the mindset of
I
this
think the fact
team?
we've been through it, we've been at this moment before in the last 3 years, and I think it's always something you can go back to and just say, look, if we could do the best job, and just kind of say, this year we did this, this time. I think it's great to go through the history of what happens, so to put the kids in the right perspective. But our players are, to be honest, was very focused. They're disappointed, but they're ready to go to work. They know what it takes. They're Buckeyes, and so they'll be ready.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.